Many kids look forward to going to school because they want to be with their friends and learn new things, but there are other kids that are scared to go to school. School refusal is a serious problem and it's very stressful for the children, the parents, and even the teachers. It can also cause long-term effects on children's social, emotional, and educational development. Joining me today to give you some tips on what to do if your child is refusing to go to school is Dr. Margaret Leary, who is a pediatrician with the Schoolhouse Road Pediatrics in Guilderland, New York. If the child is refusing to go to school, what's going on?
Well, it can mean many different things. If it's a child who's always had reluctancy going to school, then I think that it needs to be addressed. There are many kids who don't like to go to school. If it's a child who has always been willing to go to school, happy-go-lucky, gets on the bus, waves, and enjoys the company of their friends and enjoys the learning, and suddenly changes, I think that it may be a result of something that's happening in the classroom or in the home. If it's happening in the classroom, the teacher may not even be aware of it. I think that this society has become much more aware and vigilant, looking for bullying, and I think that we're taking it much more seriously because we recognize the long-term consequences of bullying. So I think that one of the things the families can do is approach the teacher and certainly ask, do they think there's any bullying? Certainly speak at great length with the child about why they don't want to go to school. Do they feel safe? Do they feel threatened? Do they feel that they're not being able to compete academically? It may be an insecurity about their academic performance. Susie got 100, I got a 60, I don't want to sit next to her because I feel bad. It may be just avoiding an uncomfortable situation.
And you mentioned also that it could be something that's going on at home.
It absolutely can.
Well, if that's the situation, how can they find out? Like, are the children going to open up and tell them?
They may not realize that marital discord or sibling, what they see as sibling rivalry or favoritism is impacting the child's security. If a grandparent's ill, they may not want to go to school thinking grandma's going to die while I'm away, or mommy and daddy are fighting, will daddy be home when I get home? They have a feeling that if they stay home, things will stay the same. And they need to understand that their obligation is to go to school and to trust the family to work out their differences. Counseling is going to be really, really helpful. Most children will benefit from having school therapists be involved. Every school has a school psychologist that is actually very well versed in this particular situation because it is so common. However, there are many children who feel, especially in the older child, the 12 and 13 and 14-year-old, who feel that if they go to the school psychologist, that they're living in a fishbowl. Right. All their friends are going to know that they're being counseled, and then the rumors start as to why that is. And so they may benefit from getting counseling outside of the school, even though it's a school-based problem. There are some other tips that the family can do in the short term that if the child is young and won't get on the bus, giving in and taking them to the school saying, okay, but tomorrow you'll get on the bus, and sticking to their guns and being consistent, letting the child know that you do validate their fears and that you're not thinking that they're just being silly, that this is to them a very monumental issue.
What are some of the symptoms?
Some of the symptoms will be chronic headaches or stomach aches on Monday mornings, particularly Mondays. It's kind of a classic situation where the parent and a kid that never had stomach aches before will let the child stay home. Then Tuesday morning, and then as the day progresses, their stomach ache feels better, or their headache feels better. Without fevers and vomiting, diarrhea, coughing, without any other symptoms to go along with that, certainly kids can wake up with a stomach ache, and if they throw up at 10 o'clock, then you know that you at least validated their concerns. So you don't want to disregard every somatic complaint.
Well, there are some children that vomit because they
well,
don't want to go
if they recognize that's the sign that the parents are looking for, they will induce vomiting to avoid going to school, which is really quite a loud red flag that goes up. And then on Tuesday, if they peaked up throughout the day, then you'll see that on Tuesday, oh, I have a stomach ache again. That's when you can start kind of rationalizing and negotiating with the child, saying, well, why don't you go to school, and if you're not feeling well by 1 o'clock or by 12 o'clock, and you can give very concrete times. Even to small children, they get that once they get there and they get over the initial fear, they often do settle in just fine. If there's bullying going on, or if there's something that is really threatening the child, then they won't make it to the set time point, and then you can then recognize from there that there may be something more substantial.
So it's also very important, mainly, listen to your child. Talk to them to see what
find out what's going on.
Problem is.
Find out what's going on. There's usually a very good reason, even if it doesn't seem like a rational reason to an adult. It's a very good reason to a 7-year-old.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
Thank you. If you're looking for more information, or if you have a question for Dr. Leary, just log on to my website, parentologywithpaula.com. Coming up, internet danger. What should parents be worried about? I'll be talking to an FBI agent who has some safety tips for your kids and for you.
There is a corner where you can put your kids and they'll have fun and learn. It's Kids Corner Childcare with 4 convenient locations: Latham, Colony, and a daycare and after-school facility in Guilderland. Kids Corner has a rock wall, pottery wheels, and lots of games that encourage learning. The daycare has a cool, colorful village and a stage for your kids to try out acting. And the baby room is perfect for mom's comfort. Now enrolling for summer camp with field trips and different theme weeks. Check out kidscornerchildcare.com. KIDZKORNER, kidscornerchildcare.com.
The Furniture Scene on Parentology is sponsored by Modern Line Furniture.
Furniture doesn't have to be expensive. Living room sets from $895. Sectional sofas from $795. Dining furniture from $395.
Modern Line Furniture.
Check out modernlinefurniture.com for accessories and special deals on clearance items up to 75% off.
modernlinefurniture.com.
More than 1 in 6 children across the globe have had a negative experience on the internet. Joining me today to talk about how to protect your child from becoming a victim on the internet is Special Agent David Fallon. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Good morning, Paula.
Thank you. What should parents worry about?
There's a variety of things that they should worry about on the internet, particularly the risks of going online are inherent in themselves. Sexual predators, cyberbullies, sexting.
Something of this is going on. What are some of the signs that parents should be aware and look out for?
One of the things that they should really look out for is how much time their child spends online and if they're being secretive about what they're doing online.
So what do you recommend parents do in that situation?
It depends how old they are when they're online initially. If they're in elementary school or in middle school, they should really have the computer in a public area and know what their children are doing online. As they get older, they need to be trusted a little bit more and given more responsibility so that they can have the computer in their bedroom, but parents should always know what their kids are doing online.
What are some of the tools, like there are some software tools as well to help protect, is that correct?
There are a variety of monitoring and filtering programs out there that parents can use to see and check what their kids are doing online.
And what are some of the specific questions that parents should have, ask their children to find out if something's going on?
Well, they should know, first of all, if they have a social networking account, and they should be able to look at it whenever they want to. I have a 14-year-old son. One of the things that we have agreed upon is that if I want to check his account, I'm allowed to do that. I think it's important to see what they're doing on their Facebook account or their MySpace account or whatever social networking account they're using to know what other kids are saying, not necessarily to them, but to others that they may be in contact with.
How about chat rooms, for example?
Chat rooms in my house are a big no-no, just because nothing good can come of being in a chat room where you don't know anybody else in person.
Safety tips for kids, for example.
Kids should never give out personal information, for one. Even though a lot of their Facebook accounts and their social network accounts will have their first name or their full name on it, they should never put their phone number and another email address, their age, their school, anything that is going to personally identify them to a stranger on the internet, because that's what those guys look for.
And what are some of the other things maybe that parents can have an agreement with their children? Here are these rules.
One of the first things that they can do is have a time usage rule. X amount of hours per day or minutes per week or something like that.
Sexual predator, for example, like when they target the children, younger kids, teenagers, what exactly are some of the things that they should watch out for? If this happens, this is a sign. Hey, tell someone about this.
Sex predators engage in a process called grooming, and it involves a variety of steps on their part. What they principally try to do is establish trust and secrecy with the child so that they're not going to say anything to anybody, whether it's their parents or their closest friend. So if somebody on the internet who's a stranger to them is asking them to meet them in person and, hey, don't tell anybody about this, then the child should be very wary of something inappropriate going on and should tell somebody.
So if a parent suspects that something is going on, or even a child, something unusual, somebody's asking me this question, and they want to report it, how can they do that?
Well, there are a variety of ways. It depends on what the activity is. If it's cyberbullying, that's generally a local or state police matter, that they should contact their local police agency right away. If it's a sex predator wanting to meet the child in person, they could contact either their local police department or the FBI.
Thank you so much for your advice.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And if you're looking for more information on how to protect your child from becoming a victim on the internet, or if you have a question for Special Agent David Fallon, just log on to my website, parentologywithpaula.com.
The Elium Cafe. We're a European-style gourmet sandwich, salad, and paninis cafe, located at 9 Broadway in the historic Monument Square of Troy, right on the Cannon Building. We offer unique spins on classic comfort food. We are open 7 days a week and serve breakfast all day on Saturday and Sunday. The Elium Cafe also would love to cater your special event, and we'll design a menu to fit all budgets. Check out our website at eliumcafe.com or call us today at 273-7700.
Quick Response Restoration on Route 9 in Clifton Park. You've seen their holiday light display. Well, they can handle all your fire, smoke, flooding, and sewage restoration needs, too. Over a decade serving the Capital District. 899-7090.
Tiny Tots Tea Room in Clifton Park offers princess birthday parties and a themed princess summer camp. They also have a fantastic indoor play space and cafe and a red carpet to make your child feel special. Get more information online at tinytotstearoom.com. Tiny Tots Learning Center in Clifton Park has preschool, tot classes, and summer camp for kids between 2 and 6. For all schedules, classes, and registration, stop by Tiny Tots at Plaza 8 just off Exit 8 of the Northway or check online at tinytotstearoom.com.